So it's been a minute since I've made a video, but today I'm going to talk about the Samsung Galaxy S23's raw photo capturing capability and how easy it is to edit these images, and if it's worth it to try to use something like this instead of your DSLR or mirrorless camera or whatever. I went on a cruise a few months back and I didn't want to bring my whole camera bag with me. If you're a photographer, and that's who this video is really for, it's not for someone who's used to taking pictures with their phone. This is really more for someone who's used to carrying the gear around, wanting to have the creativity that you get by having a bag full of lenses. But every now and then, it would be nice to just have this in your pocket and know that you can get a picture out of it that you can take into your computer, into Lightroom or whatever editing program you use, and you can actually edit it the way you would an image out of your DSLR or mirrorless camera. This phone lets you do that. It's the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, and it has the ability to capture raw images. The expert raw mode on the camera is exactly that. It's a fully manual program inside the phone where you're shooting in RAW. The Pro mode on the camera, you can set the camera to shoot in JPEG or RAW. I have mine set to shoot in RAW. So you're going to get similar results in both. Now, there are hundreds of videos out there on all the different functions and the settings for these cameras, and I'm not going to dig through all of that. There are videos about that. I want to specifically talk about the images, what I got out of them, and as a photographer, just give you my opinions on the results you're going to get if you take these images into Lightroom. So I took a bunch of images here in different situations. Some of them were at night. This one here on the ship, it was, actually early in the morning, and I put the camera on the tripod and the sun was just coming up and it was dark out. And the images, when I got them home and put them in the computer, I was so surprised at how sharp they were and how much room I had in Lightroom to manipulate them. Now, I will say that a DSLR dynamic range is definitely better. Obviously, the sensor is much bigger. But if you look at this picture of the cliffs as we were coming into Puerto Rico, you can see I was able to bring out quite a bit of the shadows here, and I wasn't expecting this. Here's another image from the same time frame where I just a little further down on the coast here. And again, you can see that the bottom part of the cliff is very dark, and I was able to bring it up. Now, this video is not for someone who's never used Lightroom. This is for someone who knows how to use these programs, and you know what I'm talking about when I say the shadows and the highlights, and there really was a lot of resolution in the camera to work with, and the dynamic range was pretty good. So I don't think this is ever going to replace, or at least not this phone, is going to replace a DSLR. The portrait mode is kind of cool to play with, but it's not the same as a natural depth of field you'll get with a wide aperture like 1.8 or 1.4. There are some features in this camera that, DSLRs just don't even have yet, and the technology is great, and it's super fun to play with. And if you're in really good light, this takes as good of a snapshot during the day as any other camera. Here's a picture I took of just the ship sitting in the, in the water. I was on the beach, and it's a nice, clear, sharp photo, and I still had the ability to edit it a little bit. I didn't have to go crazy, but I could if I wanted to. And here's an image from inside the theater where it was obviously much darker, and I didn't have to do too much editing here, but I was able to make some adjustments in it. Now, obviously, an image from a little tiny sensor on a camera this size is going to have more noise in it. It's not going to give you as much. It's not going to give you as good of a low light performance. But I wasn't expecting that. And if you want to shoot in RAW, it really does a great job. You won't be disappointed with it. And I think this is a viable alternative to carrying around your entire camera bag. You're still going to need to stabilize this if you're shooting at night like anything else. But you can do long exposures. The shot here that I took of the ship early in the morning, these were, 5, 6, 7, 10-second shots I took, and they came out great. So the real key is to just keep your camera still, any camera, when you're shooting in low light situations. So you know that, and this is no different. you can definitely do some really serious editing with them. I was a little burnt out on YouTube, and I'm actually looking forward to getting back into it. If you clicked on this video, you're probably looking to use your phone more as a photography tool, and that's fine, but the bulk of what we talk about on this channel has been DSLR, mirrorless cameras, photo editing, and all sorts of things like that. So if you want to learn more about photography, you can look in some of our past videos. But I'm going to be doing some more reviews of different things. Viltrox just sent me a 75mm 1.2 lens that I'm going to be reviewing, so that should be interesting. So while I'm going to use my phone as a tool when I don't feel like carrying around my camera bag, it's not a replacement for a real camera with lenses that you can interchange. It's coming closer and closer, but I don't think they're there yet. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments. If you want to, go back through the videos, hopefully we'll be starting to make more videos again. And, thanks for watching.